bring in former Deputy Assistant Secretary of State Joel Rubin. Good morning, Mr. Rubin. We appreciate your being in. And let's begin right here with Deputy Secretary of State Wendy Sherman. She is set to meet with her Russian counterpart tomorrow in Geneva. Do you think these talks could result in Russia backing down from the Ukrainian border?
Well, it's great to be with you, Corey. And these talks are clearly an inflection point for Russia. There are two choices for Russia. There's one of escalation and confrontation, and one of de-escalation and diplomacy. And right now, the Biden team has done a masterful job of working with our allies to put Putin into a box to make this decision. The United States does not want a war. Our allies do not want a war with Russia, but Russia is the aggressor in this moment, and we have to be very clear about that. They are mounting troops along the border of a democratic ally, Ukraine. And that is a danger, not just to Ukraine, but also to Europe and to the United States. So this diplomacy that we'll see tomorrow, led by Secretary Sherman, that is a key piece in the decision-making for Vladimir Putin, and he now knows what the choices are before him.
Now, the U.S. is set to hold wider talks with NATO and other European governments later on this week. The Biden administration working with these allies to assemble a punishing set of financial, technological, and military sanctions against Russia should they invade. Why are these sanctions only coming after Russia potentially invades Ukraine? And will the Biden administration get enough support that he needs, or that we need from our allies, from the rest of Europe?
Yeah, it's a great question. And this is really how we are sharpening, and we meaning the United States are sharpening the choice for Vladimir Putin, making it very clear that there is a negative outcome if he continues to threaten his neighbor and invades again Ukraine. These are punishing sanctions. These are sanctions that are not unilateral. They're multilateral. The United States has been working closely with our European allies and getting them on board. And it demonstrates strong American global leadership. And that leadership, meaning the United States working with Europe, has real tangible impact. It's crucial that our allies want to be engaging in these sanctions. That means potentially they'll get hurt financially by having those sanctions. So they're working with us to mitigate those risks to their economy. This is a major signal. It's unity. It scares Russia. Unity is what Russia doesn't want between us and the Europeans. We're seeing a lot of misinformation now being pushed forward by Russia to try to undermine that unity, because these are sharp choices, and that's why they're being laid out right now.
And the question is, will they be enough to keep Russia from invading Ukraine rather than having to put those sanctions in place should they invade Ukraine? NBC News is also reporting that the U.S. is working with NATO allies to arrange for delivery of anti-aircraft missiles to Ukraine, and they have prepared a new military package for the country. Do you see this as the U.S. ever getting involved further, sending financial aid and artillery? We're talking boots on the ground as well. How far could this go, I guess, is the question.
Yeah, Corey, I'm glad you brought that up, because Russia has to understand that it's not just a risk to their economy and to their global standing to invade Ukraine, that there will be pain for them and for their people if they invade Ukraine. You know, the Ukrainian people understand already what Russia has done by invading Crimea. They've been preparing for 8 years to defend their homeland. And the United States is making it clear that we are going to support the Ukrainian people in such an effort to repel Russia if Russia invades. That is a painful risk for Russia to take. They need to understand that standing down is in their interest. Going forward is not.
Okay, we will leave it there. We will be closely monitoring those talks and be checking back with you as well for the latest updates out of Geneva. Joel Rubin, we really appreciate your time this morning.